In this video, I'm going to break down the new tax law in a very simple manner so that even a layman can understand. I'm going to explain and break down the new Nigerian tax law that will be effective from 2026 in a very simple manner. So just watch to the end. I need just few minutes of your time to explain this. Stop whatever you are doing and just pay attention in few minutes and you're going to understand how this new tax law is going to affect you in 2026. Now, number one thing you should know is that your personal income tax is progressive. Now, most people will pay personal income tax in the new tax law. Most people are going to pay personal income tax and it is progressive. Let me explain what that means. If you are making 800k and below a year, you are not going to pay any tax. So, if the money that you make as personal income, not business income, personal income. So this one is like salary or your profits from your business that you are paying yourself, right? Or let's say you are a freelancer, the money that you get from clients, things like that, personal income. If you earn 800k and below in a year, you are not going to be paid tax. You are not going to be paying tax. If you make between 800k to 3 million, you pay 15% a year. If you make between 3 million to 12 million a year, you pay 18% tax. If you pay 12 million to 25 million a year, you are paying 21% tax. If you earn 25 million to 50 million a year, you are paying 23% tax. Then if you earn above 50 million a year, you are paying 25% tax. But it is progressive. Now let me explain. Now, hypothetically, for instance, somebody makes 10 million a year. Somebody makes 10 million a year. So if the person that makes 10 million a year wants to pay tax, the person will fall into this 18% category, right? Because 10 million is inside this amount here. But the person will not be paying 80% tax outrightly. The person is not going to be paying 18% at once. The person won't pay a tax for the first 800k that enters. The person won't be taxed for the first 800k that enters his account. So anybody earning 10 million a year, for instance, the first 800k that enter, you're not going to pay tax. Then the next 800k to 3 million, you are going to be paying 15% inside, right? Then the remaining one, which is like 7 million, because you won't pay in the first 800k, the first 3 million are only going to be paying 15%. Then the remaining 7 million, that's where you pay 18% tax, right? It's not as if you are paying 18% from the 10 million at once. If you earn, let's say, 40 million a year, assuming you make 40 million a year, right? You won't be taxed from the first 800k. The first 800k, nobody will ask you for tax. Then the first 3 million, you are only going to be paying 15%. The first 12 million, you are only going to be paying 18%, right? The first 25 million, you pay only 21%. Then the remaining money that is left, that is when you will not pay the 23% inside the money that is left. It's not as if because you are making 40 million a year, they'll tell you to pay 23% at once. No, you won't pay 23% at once. The tax will be deducted according to the different ranges. Small like that. If you make 70 million a year, right, you won't be told to pay 25% at once. You are not going to pay tax from the first 800k inside. You are going to pay 15% for the first 3 million. You are going to be paying 18% for the first 1 million. You are going to be paying 21% for the first 25 million. You are going to be paying 23% for the first 50 million. Then the rest that is left after 50 million below has been taxed. That's the remaining change. That's what you will not pay 25% tax for, right? So that's how the tax system works, right? The another thing you should know about the tax system is this: there is relief. There is relief, meaning that it is not all the money that will be taxed for personal income. For instance, there is National Housing Fund relief, meaning that they will allow you to remove money for a National Housing Fund before the money will be taxed. There's health insurance, National Health Insurance Scheme relief, meaning that they will allow you to remove health insurance money before the rest is taxed. Then there is also pension, meaning that pension money will be removed before the rest is taxed. Then there's also rent relief for tenants, meaning that your rent, they will allow you to remove your rent before the rent is taxed. But this rent relief is capped at 500,000 naira. Right? It's capped at 500,000 naira. Then I think the rent relief is 20% of your rent. They will allow you to remove 20% of your rent, not your own rent. I think yes. So they will allow you to remove 20% of your rent before the rent is taxed, but it is capped at 500,000 naira. So these are the relief. All this money now will be removed. They will allow you to remove the money before the rest is being taxed. It's not as if they will tax your entire income, right? Then for businesses, it's not the same. Everything I explained here are for personal income. These are personal income tax. Now, if you run a business, it's not the same. Businesses, small businesses won't be taxed. If you have a small business, it won't be taxed. Now, a small business is that business that has a yearly turnover of 100 million or below. So if you are not making up to 100 million naira in your business a year, it's a small business. Nobody will ask you to pay tax. Or your total business asset is not up to 250 million naira, it's a small business. Nobody asks you to pay tax. But if it's a big business, if the turnover is above 100 million a year, you are going to pay 30% tax. But I think it will also be like a personal income, meaning that the first 100 million will be taxed, then the other money on top the 100 million will not be taxed 30%. Right? Now, the question you might be asking is how will government track this? How would they be able to remove the tax? How would they track? How would they know your income? It's simple. Everybody must have a tax identification number in 2026. Right? Everybody will have. I think that's what they will use to track it. And banks will start reporting transactions to the government. Right? They know all these things and I believe they will do it. So at the end of the day, if you are making consistent income every year above 800k, you will definitely pay tax, especially if it's a personal income. So if you as an individual have a business now, one thing you should do is that you can register your business as a separate entity now. So that it's because if you don't register it as a separate entity, they will assume it's your personal income. So you register it as a separate entity, then you cannot be paying yourself salary from the business. So if you register it as a separate entity and the yearly turnover is not up to 100 million, nobody will ask you for tax. Nobody will ask you for tax. But if it's over 100 million, you are definitely going to pay tax. So this is just a simple breakdown of the the new tax law coming in 2026. So you should get prepared, right? Now, if you want more videos like this, especially on finances, on investing, on how you can grow your money, on how you can manage your money, on how you can properly even save your money, then subscribe to this channel, right? And follow me for more videos like this. My name is Roka Otone, and God bless you for watching.